Hello, Pony students and families. We're going to talk for just a couple of minutes about the new change that we're making to our office hours format, explain a little bit more some of the reasons why, and then also explain to you where you can find the form that we mentioned last week to indicate whether students will be attending in person or whether they'll be exercising some flexibility to go elsewhere for office hours and conduct them remotely. First question that's popped up quite a bit is, why is there even a need for office hours? Many schools across the country have talked about the idea that since we have emerged either from the pandemic or in our case, since we've come out of distance learning from last year, we are seeing greater and greater numbers of students that have different kinds of needs all across the board. In some instances, those needs might be academic. In some instances, those needs might be behavioral. In some instances, social emotional. But the bottom line is we see an increasing number of need that we have to figure out some way to address given our current school model. The reason that this is important to do during the course of the school day is quite simply because a number of our students don't have opportunities to get this extra help outside of the school day. For years and years and years, our kind of philosophy, and not just at Stillwater, but everywhere, has been if students need extra help, after school is a great time to do that with teachers. Come in after school, come in before school, and get some extra help. The fact of the matter is we have tons of students for whom after school help or before school help is simply not an option. And so if we're going to be able to meet those needs, we've got to figure out some way of doing this during the school day. At Stillwater High School, we currently have over 1,100 students who rely on district transportation to get to school and from school. And for those students, it's simply not an option to try to make some kind of arrangements after school and before school if they're in a position of needing help to meet our standards. To some extent, we actually were a little bit ahead of the curve because we recognized last summer, or correctly predicted, that we probably were going to have some kind of needs. So we actually predicted this and scheduled an office hours format over the summer to take place at the beginning of this school year. Everyone knows that during the course of semester one, we ran an office hours period in between third period and fourth period. Again, we correctly predicted that there's probably going to be some need for this. But one of the things that we recognized was that this period simply wasn't as effective as what we would like it to be. The reasons for that were many. Obviously, there are going to be some students that need to take advantage of office hours and some students that are maybe in great shape and they don't necessarily need to take advantage of office hours. What that led to environmental conditions in the classroom where teachers really had to try to differentiate between who they could help and who didn't need that help. Needless to say, those kinds of environments are just not real great for the students who wind up actually really needing to sit down and need the help. In addition to that, we had teachers that were trying to regulate passes so that students could get to other teachers if they needed that. And that ate into the amount of time that teachers had to actually be able to deliver any kind of additional instruction to students. We also found that with only a 45-minute block of time, that in some instances might not have been enough time for students to sit down if they had to take a makeup test or do something along the lines of a makeup opportunity. Given that, we took everything that we've learned from office hours in semester one and come up with a different proposal for semester two. This is going to hit on the pieces that we recognized need to be addressed during the course of semester one. And so we're going to pilot this new format and we're going to see how this goes. Again, the plan is that we'll run this alternative schedule 1 day per week only. This new office hours schedule will be on Wednesdays, just like office hours first semester was on Wednesdays. What we're going to do is we'll run a modified schedule. Students will still have all 6 class periods, but we're going to condense those class periods down to 40 minutes. 40 minutes is really only 12 to 13 minutes less than a traditional class period on the regular schedule that we run for our 6-period day during any other normal school day. In fact, given the fact that we ran office hours during first semester, we actually ran an alternate schedule all first semester to accommodate the current office hours format that we had during first semester. And those class periods were only 45 minutes. So the reality is this new schedule will only impact your child's class schedule in each class by 5 minutes every week. So we're going down from 45 minutes down to 40 minutes. They'll still meet with every teacher during the course of the day. And what will happen then is at 12:05, students will have the option either to remain at school to conduct office hours in person. Any student that relies on us for nutrition services or transportation services obviously should be planning on being with us for in-person office hours. Students who are below 70% in any class will be required to attend office hours in person. And yes, we will be reaching out and communicating with parents and students to let them know that they're required to stay for office hours. And those students will be scheduled with a teacher so that they'll know exactly where to go and where to report each day for office hours. But the bottom line is that students who are above 70% in any of their classes may conduct office hours remotely if they have parent permission. And that's the permission form that we had talked about a little bit last week and said was going to be available to you beginning this week. That permission slip form can be found in PowerSchool. And so for parents, if you log into your PowerSchool account, I'm actually going to go in through a student account, but the parent account works exactly the same way. When you log in either to your parent account, you could do this, excuse me, through your student account, but your student actually does not have access to the permission form, but the screens will look exactly the same. If you go in through your parent account, over here on the left-hand side on your navigation toolbar, one of the functions says Forms. I'm going to click on the Forms function. And there are two forms that pop up, one of which says Office Hours Semester 2 Attendance. We'll go ahead and click on that. And there will be a form that pops up that's very simple to fill out. It'll give a brief explanation, again, of how office hours works. This is office hours, again, is not scheduled to start until Wednesday, February 16th, but we'd like to have this form submitted by the end of this week so that we can begin to make plans regarding scheduling for which students are going where. We're going to ask for your student's last name. We're going to ask for your student's first name. And we're going to ask for your name as parent to show that you filled out the form. And you can already see, since I went in through the student portal, that I don't have access to be able to fill these things in. But once you fill these things in on the parent side, it'll ask you two questions. Please select one of the following options. Either A, my student will remain at SAHS for lunch and office hours each Wednesday. I understand that my child will be scheduled with an appropriate teacher and will be expected to attend as scheduled. Or your second option is that your student has permission to leave Stillwater High School at 12:05 each Wednesday in order to conduct office hours remotely. You understand that district transportation will not be provided for students who select this option, and that students are not allowed to leave Stillwater Area High School and come back to school for transportation. We're asking that if students are riding transportation, that they stay with us for office hours. Lastly, then, you indicate that you understand that your child will be required to attend office hours in person if they're graded in any classes below 70%. So again, it's real simple. Option A, option B. We'll run some reports at the end of this week to try to get a sense of which students have selected which options so that we know how to schedule. That's pretty much everything that you could need to know about office hours in a quick little 5-minute video. Again, if you have any questions about office hours or the format, please feel free to reach out to your Students Pony Center. Take care. Have a great day.